Hello and welcome to the Broad Street Hockey Podcast. That YouTube live the music there kind of lulls you into like a nice thing there. But I'm your host Ryan Gilbert, and back from his Euro trip is Joe DeMarini. Welcome back, Joe.
Bonjour Ryan, ça va bien?
Oh, ça va? Comme ci, comme ça.
Comme ci, comme ça. Ah oui, très bien. It's great to be back. No, you said about the intro music. I'm sitting here, I'm like bopping my head. I'm like, ooh, this is slick. That's the first time I heard it. So I was like, ooh, this is nice. I'm into it.
Yeah, it's good. Good to have you back here. Good to have the Flyers back. Matvei Michkov was the star of Saturday night. We'll obviously get into that here at the top of the show. Make sure you are subscribed to the Broad Street Hockey Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Leave us 5-star rating and review. If you're watching on YouTube, comment, like, all that good stuff helps the algorithm, helps us get more viewers, helps us be able to do more fun stuff. So, we appreciate all the support so far. Hoping for much more content here for this season, which looks like it should be a pretty exciting one. I mean, Joe, you were back for Thursday night's game, right? So you watched that, and you watched last night's game this morning because you were at a concert last night. So you've seen the two most important games. We'll go over last night's game first, but like, what are your thoughts right now as someone who was away for what 10 days, 2 weeks?
Yeah, I missed the rookie showcase and I missed the first two preseason games. But to quote the great Kelly Hinkle, this is a good hockey team. This is a good hockey team. Sam Ersson might be the truth. He looked real good in that first game. Which after last season's after he petered out as time went on, it was really good to see him post a shutout. I mean, it's the Islanders who aren't like the most offensively gifted team, but still.
Yeah. Ersson really stole the show there. I know Michkov had the 2 goals and an empty netter or the 2 points, the assist, and then the goal to put it away. But Sam Ersson kept him in that game against a feisty Islanders team. I was not expecting that from the Isles. They didn't really bring their best players. Still had some guys there that make some noise, but win there against the Islanders on Thursday night, and then Saturday night. I mean, that was Flyers hockey being back. Like that, there was a buzz in the arena. I loved it right from the get-go. I'm not sure if this was a decision by Lou Nolan himself or if this was given to him, but you know how they announced the lineups? They do goalie, defenseman, wingers, and center. This time they did wingers. They listed Couturier as a winger and then announced Michkov last. I thought that was a very, very good touch there. I'm not sure if that was Lou Nolan himself or if that was designed beforehand, but you could let him get the last ovation there.
I mean, I think it had to be planned because like they're all in the hallway, right? Like lined up.
It's when they're on like the blue line waiting for the anthem.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant as they're like running out of the chutes or whatever. No, okay. No, the moment for me when I was like, hockey is back was Thursday's game. And hearing Jim Jackson open the broadcast. Like hearing Jim Jackson open the broadcast, you're just like, damn, it's real. It's happening. We're back, baby. It's great. I swear, Flyers fans, we don't know how good we have it with him as our play-by-play guy. But
we really do. I mean, he's been here for at least 30 years. The mid-90s when I was a kid, started watching the Flyers. I remember Jim Jackson and his classic goatee or his mustache or whatever he had. Just bring that back. Yeah, great to hear Jim Jackson's voice. Brian Boucher is always great on the broadcast as well. Not sure who was it the same two last night?
I think so, yeah. I like Bush just because having a goalie tell you what's happening is sweet. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, especially when we're trying to analyze these goalies so much, and including Ivan Fedotov there. So, that's something we're going to get into here. But yeah, Matvei Michkov was the story. Our friends over at BetOnline have him as the Calder Trophy favorite here at plus 300. They got Celebrini, Stankoven, Cutter Gauthier, or William Gauthier, I should say, Will Smith, and Hudson all up there. So yeah, 3-1 there at BetOnline. And we're proud to be sponsored by BetOnline. It's the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. Think you know your stuff? Get in on our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of $200,000. The game's over. Head on over to our online casino and get on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Bet online, the game starts here. And you know what started last night? I feel like what started last night was Matvei Michkov being welcomed into the Flyers family when this absolute plug of a guy playing for the Bruins, Billy Sweezy, 28 years old. He has 9 NHL games to his name. He is AHL just veteran, this plug going after Michkov. Michkov's not going to fight him. Give him a few shoves back. And then Captain Coops sees that, comes down the ice, gives him a nice little beating there.
Who gave who a beating? I remember Coots had a pretty big welt on the side of his head after that one. I think
Coots got a few good punches in. Okay,
he got a few good ones in there. Yeah. You love to see it. You know, it was great. Is that the first fight of the season? No, 𝙏𝙒𝙎𝙎𝙏𝙏 had one in one of the.
I don't think they called that a fight. I think they called that roughing with 𝙏𝙒𝙎𝙎𝙏𝙏.
Oh, so was this the first fight of the?
I think this was the first fight. Who had Sean Couturier as the first Flyers fight of the year?
Not me.
I could be wrong. I don't think there was a fight against the Islanders. I'll look it up. I think last night was the first fight.
Wild. I mean, the captain leading the way. That's kind of what they gave him the C for, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. He stepped up. Ryan Quigley was at the game last night for Broad Street Hockey. He wrote a good piece on that on Sunday morning. Make sure you go like and subscribe there. And as Thomas has been saying, 16 cents a day to support Broad Street Hockey if you sign up. You tip for a drink somewhere. You go out, get a coffee. Tip us. It's free content. We're giving you $5 a month, something like that. Like, yeah, there's plenty of free stuff, but we appreciate your support on the stuff that is behind the paywall. But yeah, I mean, last night's game was incredible. I was there behind the net. The Flyers shot at twice, which of course that Michkov did not score at. So his first goal on the power play, I didn't really understand how it went in, and then I saw the replay. I'm like, okay, that was a sick tip there by him. But
can we talk about that power play? Like, it is a night and day difference when he is on the ice. And the passing. Like, they're connecting. It's like these tic-tac-toe plays that didn't seem to do anything last season. Like, Michkov was just camped out on the side of the net there with his stick in open net. He didn't even have to hit the puck. They just shot it on his stick and it bounced in. Like that. Where was that last season?
I guess they didn't have anyone that was a threat. And yeah, it was. I mean, the Bruins definitely took notice of him and kind of focused on him more, but it didn't matter. He's the best player on the ice every time he takes the ice. He does something incredible every single shift. And that pass, we got to give credit to 𝙏𝙒𝙎𝙎𝙏𝙏. He had 2 assists in that game, including that pass down to Michkov. He's really playing. He's playing for a roster spot. He's not wagers exempt, so he would have to go through waivers, I should say. So I can't imagine someone else will claim him if he goes through. So I think he's kind of making a case to be that 14th forward along with Nick 𝙏𝙒𝙎𝙎𝙏𝙏.
I think you're right. And he's like your ideal 14th forward, I think. He's one of our guys. Like, the Flyers drafted him. They've developed him. He might not be an NHL regular when all is said and done, but he is a perfectly cromulent call-up guy. And for the 4-game road trip out west, I think he's the right choice. And I think he might get claimed. Like, he's shown that he can play at the NHL level. Like, we lost Nicolas 𝙏𝙎𝙎𝙏𝙏𝙏 to the waiver wire once, and then he went and won a Stanley Cup. So if Lycksell got claimed, he'd be going to, like, I don't know, Edmonton, and then winning a cup this season.
Yeah, I mean, he's played in the AHL now for 2 years. First year, 45 points in 53 games. Last year, 39 points in 38 games. So those are 2 impressive totals, especially when you consider how bad the Phantoms have been over the past 2 years. So he hasn't really had many great players to play with. 6th round pick in 2017. So, a good deep pick there. I think that was still Ron Hextall's draft because that was
the Patrick pick.
That was the Patrick draft. So yeah, that had to be Ron Hextall. So yeah, Lycksell is pretty much your ideal 13th, 14th forward. You can slot in the bottom 6. You can move someone up if it has to be. So yeah, good to see a lot of good stuff out of Lycksell last night.
Yeah. Anytime some guy that came up in the system does well, we take those.
Yeah, exactly there. Someone else that did look better last night. He didn't look great in his first showing. Was Ivan Fedotov. He did start in that game against Montreal before it went off the rails when Cal Peterson came in the third period. He looked okay in the first game, but I feel like last night he looked a lot better. Only 2 goals allowed. First one was, I think, a deflection off of Jamie Drysdale.
Hey, that would have been a beautiful tip-in goal if it had been at the other end of the ice. Poor Jamie. Oh, he had a rough game.
Well, Jamie had a rough game because Adam Ginning was paired with him. He had a rough game. We'll get to that after Fedotov. But yeah, Fedotov, that was the first goal after a few failed clears by Ginning and Drysdale there. Then the second goal, just turnover on the power play, breakaway by Matt Patra. Like, he was the best player on the Bruins roster. He had he was the 𝙏𝙒𝙎𝙏𝙏𝙏𝙏 of the Bruins last year. He got the 9-game tryout from the Guelph Storm, and he stayed up all year because they needed the center. So no real shame in giving that up. That was breakaway wrist shot right over the gloves. So besides that, he looked pretty good. He's big boy there in net. Like, you could see him, like, his legs easily cover post to post. So there's gonna be no wraparounds on him as long as he's there in the crease, because he did get out of the crease at one point and was kind of flopping around there. I think during the second period it was either during the first or third. He was like kind of on his side behind the net, and then it didn't get a shot on, thankfully. But yeah, Fedotov did look a lot better.
Yeah. So I got to be honest. I watched the recording of last night's game this morning, and for some reason, the first 10 minutes of the first period didn't record. So if it happened in that window, I didn't see it, and I thought he had a great game because I didn't see him flub the behind the net stuff.
It may have. Because I was at the game last night, so I didn't really couldn't analyze it too great. I watched the highlights last night and then again this morning. It may have.
You weren't tracking from your seat, Gills?
I wasn't live tracking. No,
slacking. You're slacking.
I was slacking and not tracking there. So yeah, Fedotov looked better. It gives me a lot of confidence as a backup. You want to get into we'll get into the Kolosov stuff after we discuss the game and kind of circle back on the goaltending.
Also, as far as Fedotov goes, he doesn't have to be like a lights out starter. He just has to be good enough to give 𝙏𝙒𝙎𝙏𝙏𝙏 a couple breaks so that he's not playing on like a 70-game pace or whatever it was. Although I think Torts said in like a post-game presser or something, he's like, I expect 𝙏𝙏𝙎𝙏𝙏 to start 55 to 60 games this season, which would be a lot. That
would be a lot, but as long as they're spread out properly, it could be okay. Last year, he started 49, including a shit ton in a row in the second half. So I could see him getting 50, and then the other 32 being split between Fedotov and Kolosov. But but more on last game. 𝙏𝙒𝙎𝙏𝙏𝙏𝙏, Oliver Bonk, kind of. I think Lushenko looked better than Bonk. Bonk kind of unnoticeable, which may be a better thing for him.
Wait. Was Bonk in last night?
I'm pretty sure he was in last night.
No way. No way Bonk was in last night.
No, isn't he number 59?
Is he?
I'm looking. I'm bringing up the box score right now.
Okay.
Yeah, Bonk played 16 minutes last night.
Holy shit!
Only 18 shifts.
I did not notice him at all last night.
I wonder if he got benched at some periods. Yeah, he played 18 shifts, 16 minutes. McDonald played 16:59. Ginning played 16:06. So yeah, he was just that. Sometimes you like that from a defenseman, but when you're looking for a defenseman, we got a comment right here. Patrick in the chat. Bonk not getting noticed is why he's so good. Yeah, that's what you want to see from defensemen. Like, the best defensemen, besides the ones that put up a ton of points, are the ones that you're like, okay, I didn't hear his name tonight. Great. No mistake.
Jacob Slavin. Jacob Slavin is the first one that comes to mind when I think of a defenseman whose name you never hear, but he's doing very well.
Yeah. These defensemen that should be in the Norris Trophy conversation, there should be a defensive defenseman award at some point. But
there's a defensive forward award. Why isn't there a defensive defenseman award?
Excellent point there.
These and the other questions. But now I think I remember JJ saying something like what Patrick said, like, if you don't hear his name, then that's a good thing. So I thought he was talking about McDonald. I didn't think he was talking about Bonk. So that's on me.
Yeah, was McDonald the one that got the only penalty out of that scrum behind the net that was just a garbage call by the refs there? Yeah. I think Michkov, because Michkov tried to like slam at the pad a little bit and they went at him. So
I think that was more of a makeup call, because TK full on high sticked a guy in the face and like knocked out his teeth and got no call on it because the refs missed it. So You know, maybe this was more of a like, yeah, we fucked that one up, so we got you back on this one.
Yeah, fair enough there. Makeup calls are fine. Makeup calls are fine in general, especially in the preseason. I'll take that. We got to get a good look at the Flyers penalty kill, so that was good to see.
The power kill. They had some chances too, I think. They had a couple of opportunities shorthanded.
Yeah, I do believe so there. Yeah.
I was worried about that going into this season. I'm like, are they going to be able to get that offensive juice going again in when they're down a man? And looks fine so far.
Yeah, it looks great so far. Yeah, I think 𝙏𝙎𝙎𝙏𝙏𝙏𝙏 was out there on the penalty kill last night. They're giving him a lot of chances to, every opportunity he can get power play, penalty kill, 5-on-5, giving him a chance. He looked fast last night. Didn't look like especially great, but he impressed. He didn't like go over the top for anything, but he looked fine on the. I think we're on the second line.
He had a breakaway opportunity at one point, I think. And
oh yes, he sped past the defenseman, kind of like looped in for the breakaway. That was impressive. That was down my end of the rink. I was really hoping he would put that one away.
Couldn't get it around 𝙏𝙒𝙖𝙏𝙏𝙏𝙏, who had a solid game, a really solid game actually. Micah of Hockey Viz tweeted out every morning. He tweets out like an image of like the expected goals versus the actual goals on a game by game basis, and the Flyers had like 5 expected goals, maybe 6, and only scored 3. So 𝙏𝙒𝙖𝙏𝙏𝙏 really stood on his head to keep the Bruins in that game, and it looked it.
Yeah, 𝙏𝙒𝙖𝙏𝙏𝙏𝙏 was good, and the Bruins are going to need him if Jeremy Swayman holds out at all. I mean, so people didn't like the trade for them they got him in the Allmark trade, I'm pretty sure. So, right. he's a fine NHL backup, but it's going to be a lot if he has to be the starter if Swayman misses time.
Well, I mean, Boston's such a stingy team, generally speaking. Maybe not in the preseason because they're not like icing their full roster. That they make goalies look good in the way that Carolina makes their goalies look good.
Yeah.
So maybe 𝙏𝙒𝙖𝙏𝙏𝙏𝙏 will be fine because he was good in Los Angeles, which is another stingy team. So, I mean, Cam Talbot looked like a friggin' like Vezina contender.
He was a Vezina candidate for one point. At one point early on last year, yeah.
For like the first like 3 months, he looked really good, and then the wheels fell off. But
yeah, Boston has good enough defensemen: Zadorov, McAvoy, Lindholm, Carlo, Lohrei, Peak as the 6 great defensemen there. So yeah, they'll be fine in front of 𝙏𝙒𝙖𝙏𝙏𝙏𝙏. Looking at the fancy stats last night, though, from Natural Stat Trick, 𝙏𝙏𝙏𝙏𝙏𝙏 had the Flyers' worst Corsi for percentage, expected goals for percentage on the ice for 6 scoring chances against, only 1 for. Not great there on the second line with Farabee and Brink.
No, I like the Farabee and Brink chemistry. I still think they've got something cooking. Brink looked really good last night. Yeah. No, I'm of the school that I think Luchenko should be sent back to the OHL. I don't care if it happens before the regular season starts. I don't care if it happens after a 5-game tryout or the full 9-game cup of coffee. I think he's got to go back down. Not for lack of effort, not for lack of trying, but I think the offensive elements of his game need some more work. His shot isn't the best. Like, it's fine, but it could be better. And something on the more intangible side of things, they drafted him because I think they want him to be like the guy. They want him to be like this all situations center who can handle whatever. You're not going to be able to develop that as the 3C on the NHL club. But if he goes back to the like mediocre Guelph Storm and he is the only guy there, he has to learn how to be that guy so that when he does come to the NHL in a year or two, he's much more well prepared to take on those responsibilities. But that's just, that's my hot take. I know that's the unpopular thing. Shiny new toy, let him play. Let the kids play. But this is the long game. We got to play the long game.
Yeah, they absolutely cannot burn a year of his entry level contract. They just can't. Maybe they keep him up like you said for the first road trip. Maybe they let him get a few home games in. But I was talking about it with Thomas last show. Like the Guelph Storm season started this weekend. They played Friday, Saturday. They have like a dozen or 15 games in October. So like he's going to be missing out on a big chunk of that season if he does stay up. And on one hand, I do see it. I do like him, earning that chance to, stay up with the team. But on the other hand, I kind of want to just see what this Flyers team that we expect it to be is down the middle. Couturier, Frost, Lawton, Cates is playing some center, Paling. Like see what those guys got. Let Łuczenko go back down to the OHL. Let him grow his game. Next year is going to be the big year for Łuczenko potentially making the team out of camp. Like I feel like if you take the contract situation out of it, if his entry-level contract burned a year no matter what, I think he would have a better chance of making the team, especially if there was, I imagine a few years down the road, there's going to be some sort of agreement where they can put juniors players in the AHL for some percentage or whatnot. So if you could do that, you'd probably do that. But I don't think this year for the Flyers, it's worth it given everything going on.
They might not even end up with the cap space to do it. Like, we don't know right now. Johansson's contract is completely off the books, so they're under the cap. But if they settle, there's going to be some amount of cap hit. We don't know how much that's going to be. So if they burn the ELC and they keep Łuczenko on the big club, and then they settle with Johansson and they're over the cap, well, then they're out of luck. So that's another reason I think it's just better to send him back. But like you said, next year, if Matvei Michkov scores at the pace he's scoring in these preseason games throughout the regular season, it's go time. Get Łuczenko in here on the ELC, go out big fish or big trade hunting in the summer, and just, it's time, baby. Mm-hmm. But only if he's scoring at that kind of a pace.
Yeah, completely agree. And like, he hasn't looked bad. So I want to preface it by saying that, but he has got it.
He just turned 18.
Yeah, but he has probably declined over the course of training camp. Like, he looked great in the rookie series game with Michkov and Elliot Desnoyers on that line. I think he played back-to-back games. You could kind of see that in the Saturday game. He looked great in his first preseason game against the Capitals. Him with Farabee and Brink, they were the best line on the ice. I think he may have had 2 points there. I know Brink and Farabee each had a few points, so he looked great there. Thursday against the Islanders, between Forster and Konechny, looked fine there. It looked fine there as well. Nothing too impressive. And then Saturday night against the Bruins, a few flashes, but like nothing exceptional that's going to be like, all right, he has to make the team. So I imagine he'll get a few more games. I think Flyers have 3 more preseason games, Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday at home. So maybe he'll, be one of the final cuts in camp. Maybe they'll keep him up. But I think for now, we like what we see. We like the runway he has there. But, let's see what he has next year.
It's really promising to have a freshly turned 18-year-old already look like a perfectly acceptable third line center. Like, that's a really good sign. As far as runway, I also just want to bring up Spencer Gill. I know he got sent back to juniors already. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize he's like 3 days older than Łuczenko. Like, he's also super, super young and has a much longer runway than I think than I certainly realized. When we were doing our 25 under 25, I didn't really rate him that highly, but now knowing that he is as young as he is, I'm like, oh, I've got a little more time for him, and I'm going to be watching his season the same way I will look at Łuczenko's, which is, what if he was in the 2025 draft eligibles? How does he stack up against those players? So anyway, that's a little aside, but
that's a good point, because like, it does seem like the Flyers are focused on next year's draft. So they're trying to get ahead of players that would have went higher next year in Łuczenko, in Gill, and be like, okay, get them now. Our rebuild timeline is still 2025 being the big year for the kids, flexibility, whatever.
2020. For the cap flexibility. Sorry. Yeah.
No, just because like the 2025 draft, they have 6 picks, first 2 rounds. They have Łuczenko's, Gill are going to be draft +1, age 19. Like, so yeah, they have that going there. So yeah, that's another good point. He's a big defenseman. He's going to need more time to develop. So it is good that he is on the younger side.
Only big as in tall.
Yes.
Dude is thin as a rake, man. He's skinny.
Yeah, he does need to fill out a little bit. But like Zamula, I think was pretty skinny. So maybe
Sanheim.
He can be Sanheim. Sanheim's not skinny, but he's not built too big.
No, I mean when they drafted him, wasn't he really skinny?
Yeah. So yeah, he'll put on weight. Like, we've seen players in this offseason, Bobby Brink, Cam York, Jamie Drysdale put on good weight. So that was a good thing to see.
Yeah, love to hear it. Love to see it.
Yeah, I want to mention one more thing about Michkov before we
Sure.
get into some of the more newsy stuff. It seems like he's almost too smart for this team. Like whenever he gets the puck in the corners, he throws it into the slot. Like, and which is great. And like more times than not, there's going to be someone there, and that's a very not a high risk play, but it's a good play. Like like maybe the Flyers are used to like cycling around the boards more, but like he makes passes that you don't think he can make. Like he makes between the legs, like blind passes to the slot. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
someone was there. So like you want to see that, and like maybe the Flyers will get him on a line where they have like okay, your line, someone goes to the other corner, someone just kind of hangs around in the slot there a little bit. So I really like what I saw last night. Him on the left side, him on his offside for where he normally plays because he's normally at right wing. So if he can play left wing with Couturier and Konechny, I love that line.
Did we like that? Did we like that yesterday?
I loved it. How'd you feel?
It looked great. I don't really have a preference either way. I would just play him right wing more often because that's what he's used to, and he's getting used to the NHL. But I mean, shit, it's the preseason. What better time to try him at left wing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also,
and let Konechny take a face off.
Because... Oh, yeah. One more point on Michkov. We'll get to that, but
sure.
Yeah, I with all due respect to Morgan Frost and Owen Tippett, I don't think anyone would have done what Couturier did fighting. Maybe Tippett would have, Morgan Frost wouldn't have. So like if that's the line, then the defensive combination out there is like York and Sanheim. Like who's gonna be the one to step up if Michkov's getting roughed up that shift? Sure, they can take a number and get him later, but like seeing Coots step up there is one of the reasons I want him on that line.
There's a reason I want Farabee on his line. Because Farabee will drop the mitts too.
That the Farabee Brink connection, though, I wanted to mention that too because they were great in that Sunday game against the Capitals. Like they looked great. Michkov and Frost had a great connection, so I wouldn't hate seeing that as a line. But yeah, the Flyers have a lot of good moving pieces now with all their wingers. It's a good hockey team.
It's a good hockey team. To quote Kelly Hinkle, it's a good hockey team.
Good hockey team.
No, but the Michkov passes, like the first game I saw was the Thursday one, and I think on his first shift he was up against the boards with 2 Islanders against him. And I'm like, oh, how's he gonna get out of this? And all of a sudden the puck pops out from between his legs right into the slot, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, like no hesitation.
Yeah, and the assist on the Erik Johnson goal, like it looked like he lost the puck there, got it back, threw it across, got the secondary assists, which are just as important as primary assists, as he showed there.
It's crazy, man. I didn't expect the passing to be this good. It always cracked me up. Like people are like, "Oh, the Flyers don't have any good players." Guess what? The players on the Flyers roster, Nick Delorier would be a top line winger on the Sochi team that Michkov had been playing for. Okay, maybe that's a little bit hyperbolic. Garnet Hathaway would be a top line winger on Sochi.
He's got some skill, yeah.
So to have him playing with players of this caliber is it's exciting to see.
Yeah, he does make some crazy passes. And speaking of crazy, you just mentioned a few minutes ago. What was that overtime combination? It's better than getting Ryan Poehling out there to take the opening faceoff, but Travis Konechny is not a center. Last year he went 39 for 97 at 40% on his faceoff. And his career faceoff percentage is 40%. Like I
41. Give him a little credit.
40.9. Fine. I'll round it up there. But I love seeing Konechny and Michkov on the ice in overtime. They obviously connected on the overtime goal. Good play by Igor Zamula defensively leading up to that. But let Cooch take the faceoff. And then either you win it, you hold it, he goes to the bench and get TK out there, or you lose it and you have Couturier out there playing defensively and you keep either Konechny or Michkov fresh on the bench to come on when you get the puck. So
yeah, let the face-off guys do the face-off. But hey, it's the preseason.
It's exactly.
Let him fucking try it, So.
Yeah, you can't complain too much. It was just an interesting wrinkle because I was like, okay,
he lost it. He lost it too.
He did. I'm pretty sure.
Lose it.
I'm pretty sure he lost it because I was like looking. I'm like, okay, who started an OT here? I'm like, Michkov and Konechny. Like, who's taking that face-off? And it was like, and then he lost it, as you said. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens in the regular season. I don't like to complain about overtime combinations too much because it's a complete crapshoot, but. Good to see him get the win there.
Hey, I'll take Michkov Konechny over Poehling Cates or whatever they were running in overtime.
Yeah, I forget who this. It may have been Cates as the secondary winger,
or Hathaway or Lawton or something.
I don't think it was Hathaway. Was it Hathaway get overtime time?
I'm sure he got some overtime
yeah.
time. I don't know if he was the first one out there, but
yeah.
Oh, well.
Okay. Some newsy stuff there over the past week.
Mhm.
Flyers made some changes to their training camp roster on Thursday. Ronnie Adder, Louis Belpedio, and Rhett Gardner all went through waivers going down to the Lehigh Valley. �12𝙎𝙎𝙎𝙏𝙎, Elliot Desnoyers, Massimo Rizzo also went down to the AHL. And then Brendan Fury and Jacob 𝙏𝙒𝙎𝙏𝙏𝙏 went to the AHL. Oh, it's also nice to hear these professional announcers like say Michkov different ways, because like we don't know exactly how to pronounce it. So they say Michkov, they say Michkov, like so it makes us feel better when we pronounce it different ways. At least for me.
I'm gonna follow Jim Jackson because I assume he tries his best to get everybody's name right. So I'm gonna take his lead, and I think he says Michkov, right?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like Michkov. Yeah, Michkov.
Yeah,
which isn't the easiest thing to say, but you know, you could say it with a hoagie mouth if you want to.
Michkov.
There you go.
Michkov. That sounds southern for some reason. I don't know.
It did sound southern. Or maybe that's your Wisconsin coming out, your Midwest.
Oh, oh yeah. Oh, Matvei Michkov, huh? You're gonna play some hockey down on the pond, eh? Yeah, great stuff. I promise I won't do accents. Please don't tune out.
Yeah, getting back to these 8 players that went down. You missed a few preseason games. Massimo Rizzo looked really slow in the one game he played. So
I heard
that was kind of disappointing to see. He'll have some AHL time for the first time in his career, first professional year.
Sure.
�12𝙎𝙎𝙎𝙎 looked speedy in his limited time. Elliot Desnoyers also looked decent in the rookie game, but yeah, these are guys that are gonna need more time in the AHL and probably won't be one of the first call-ups.
No, I mean Desnoyers maybe, but he's really gonna have to show a rebound from last season. And where's 𝙏𝙒𝙄𝙏𝙏𝙏𝙏𝙏? I know he got injured or was banged up, but we haven't heard any reports on that. He's still on the roster. Like, what's going on there?
I think he's still injured, which is weird because he scored the overtime winner in the second rookie game, so he was healthy enough to stay out there. I haven't seen any. Let me see if any new tweets recently about him. No, so like it's just a mystery injury right now.
All right. Well, whatever. No. So Rizzo, Avon. But just as like an aside here, sometimes I see comments about how like, oh, the Flyers only have like fourth liners or depth bottom 6 forwards in the system. They don't have any top line guys. Like 2 of the guys you just mentioned, they're either going to make it in a top 9 scoring role or they're not making the NHL. Like maybe Desnoyers can be a fourth line center or a fourth line winger, but Massimo Rizzo will never be a fourth liner. Maybe �12𝙎𝙎𝙎𝙎𝙎. I look at their most recent draft. You have Ilya Pautov, never going to be a fourth liner. Denver Barkey, probably never going to be a fourth liner because he's too small. Like these are much more boom bust draft choices than the safe bottom 6 guarantee picks. So, you know, everybody got to relax a bit. All right. They do have guys, but there's just a chance they don't make the NHL at all rather than making it in a lesser role.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's how it works for some prospects.
Just how it goes.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Kind of surprising to see Rhett Gardner sent down so early, considering they kept up guys like Rodrigo Abels. Anthony Richards looks very speedy, but he did have to go through waivers, so maybe they wanted to get him down there earlier than later because he played the game last year with the Flyers. I think he played a few games with the Stars the year before, so he's one of the guys that I think if there's a shorter term injury, maybe they'll bring him up for a few games. If it's a longer term one, I think they'll probably go a more high skilled guy.
I gotta be honest, Abels has been pretty solid. I kind of liked his game out there. He looks like he's got some puck skill. He's got some speed. He's big. Like he was a nice signing. I think that's going to be good organizational depth.
Yeah, big center, 6'4". This is going to be his first time professionally. No, it's not. He's been in the AHL before, but then he went back over to the SHL, was the captain there for a few years in Örebro, went to Rögle last year. So yeah, now back in the AHL with the Phantoms. He could be a guy that gets some playing time at the NHL, but they're trying to see what they got. So they've already seen what they have, and Gardner, Avon, Desnoyers, Rizzo. So they want to see what these European guys, Abels, Oscar Eklund look fine.
Oh, I didn't think
No?
he looked all that good. No, I thought he looked sloppy. Also, Abels is 28. I don't think they're looking for him as a long-term thing, just organizational depth. But
yeah, he could probably just be one of those guys that's happy to play in the AHL rather than the SHL, and be a center that can be an anchor point for a Tuamala, a Richards, like some of these higher scoring winners.
And he's Latvian, I think, right?
Latvian, yeah.
So I think it was on the broadcast that Abels speaks, if not Russian, a language that is very close to Russian. So that's good for Michkov because he can talk to him, but also a new Phantom who finally showed up after a couple weeks of a staring contest. But before we get into that, Ronnie Attard. I've been a Ronnie Attard supporter for the past couple years, and I saw the highlights of that game. Cal Peterson didn't look good. Ronnie Attard might have looked worse.
Yeah, Ronnie Attard just looked bad. Like he had an opportunity to stay up here, maybe be the 8th defenseman with Erik Johnson there, but no, he did not show anything. But I think that was his last preseason game. I don't think he played again.
He played one.
He just played that one. Like Thomas and I were talking about it on Thursday. Like we want to see him get one more game just so that's not the lasting impression of Ronnie Attard. But that is. They need, I guess they felt someone might claim him, so they sent him down early. But
no one was claiming him after that game.
No.
Besides, I think with the waivers claims, you can't claim someone and then put them in the AHL. You have to put them on your NHL roster, right? Like you can't claim someone off waivers and then put them in your affiliate. You have to put them on your NHL roster.
That sounds like it should be correct. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that it's something like that.
And nobody's claiming Ronnie Attard to be on their NHL roster. No.
Yeah, he'll go down to the Phantoms. Hopefully he plays with McDonald's. We can get the Ronald McDonald line down there.
Oh God, I need it so bad. It'll probably be Ginning because they were like the pair last year. So
yeah. Bringing up Ginning before we get to Kolosov is
sure.
Yeah, I think last night Ginning was paired with Drysdale. It showed why Drysdale needs a steady guy that he knows what's going to happen. I feel like Sealer is going to be who he's going to be paired with this year because like Ginning was very hesitant to like be the first one to pucks. Like he was like in between at times. So maybe. I mean, he'll probably be one of the first call-ups, so they wanted to see how he looked with Drysdale, but it didn't look great. So hopefully Nick Sealer can stay healthy, but the type of game he plays, I don't know if he'll be able to stay too healthy. He was great. He was great with Walker last year, and I feel like Drysdale is just a more offensive Walker, maybe worse defensively. And they played 102 minutes together last year, Sealer, Drysdale.
Well, they had that one Montreal game where they were like -6, so that's the one that sticks in everybody's head, I think.
Their expected goals for percentage, 55.7.
Was solid.
Money puck. So yeah. That was solid.
Long term, I'm wondering if it's McDonald Drysdale.
Ooh. Okay.
I hadn't thought of that until
in a few years. Once Sealer drops down to the
third pair.
But they got to keep Igor Zamula. They got to keep Michkov's best friend translator around, don't they?
For now, until they trade for Ivan Demidov.
Okay, yeah, or sign Kaprizov. Is that this offseason or next? I think that's 2026.
Apparently, there was some rumor that Kaprizov was getting traded to Chicago on the draft floor. What the fuck was up with that?
I saw like there was like these tweets get taken out of context and put on these graphics now, and like whoever, I think Mark Lazaris was like, no, that's not what I said. I said like he might want to play in Chicago eventually, but doesn't want to like go to Chicago
right now.
But yeah, like Kaprizov. I mean, ideally they'd get like a Russian center to play with him, but I would not hate a Kaprizov, Luchenko, Michkov line.
Bring back Evgeny Kuznetsov.
That'd be insane. Yeah, he's over in the KHL now to play his career out.
He's done. Yeah.
All right. We've talked about it a bunch. We thought we were going to be done talking about it, but Alexei Kolosov is a Philadelphia Flyer currently. He was at practice on Friday. I imagine he's been at practice over the weekend here. The Flyers did send down 𝙏𝙒𝙖𝙏𝙏𝙏 on Sunday here. So just got 4 goalies left on the roster. 𝙏𝙒𝙏𝙏𝙏, Fedotov, Kolosov, and Peterson. 3 more games. So I have to imagine Kolosov will be getting at least Monday or Tuesday.
I think he gets Monday. I think he gets Monday because they're not going to give him the second half of a back-to-back.
I don't think that matters as much in the preseason because they're going to not have many players playing the back-to-back.
Well, we don't know. Maybe they'll make some more roster cuts by Tuesday, and then they will have to run some other guys.
That's true. I think like some of these Phantoms guys will get one more run on Monday and then sent down because Phantoms training camp, I think, started today, and their first preseason game is Tuesday, I believe. So yeah, maybe it'll be a worse lineup Monday and then a better lineup Tuesday. But yeah,
and the OHL season started too, so I wouldn't be surprised if 𝙏𝙒𝙖𝙏𝙏𝙏 got sent back down either, because he's been fine, but I don't know if he's popped enough to be like, I need to be on this roster.
Yeah,
like Luchenko's got the leg up there, so I think maybe they would cut 𝙏𝙒𝙏𝙏 back to London by Monday or Tuesday. I don't know.
Yeah, the conversation has been all about Luchenko, and there hasn't been much about 𝙏𝙒𝙏𝙏, which is fine because, like we said before, like if you're not being talked about, it's probably good, unless you're one of these defensemen that needs to put up a bunch of points, which he's not.
Well, he could be.
He could be.
In the bumper.
You never know.
See what happens.
But yeah, Alexei Kolosov, Joe, he's finally here. What do you think happened? Do you think it was like, okay, I have a contract? His Minsk team has 3 goalies that are better than him.
Yeah.
Was it just like, okay, I have a contract, I'm not going to play here, let me go over there? Like, do you think it was just this was a matter of time? He wanted to make some money, so he had to honor his contract. Like, what do you think happened?
I imagine his agent was probably like, you dipshit. You signed a contract. You're not going to play in the NHL unless you go play for the Flyers. And then I'm sure he probably told him, but don't sandbag it either, because then no one will want you and you'll never play in the NHL anyway because they think you suck. So you got to go over. You got to go over here. You got to play your ass off. And hey, then you can start figuring out like, okay, maybe like a trade could get worked out. Maybe you get the trust to be loaned back to Minsk, but he doesn't have a contract there. So like, I don't know. I'm glad he's here. We get to see what happens. But I'm tired of it. So tired of it. Can we just please be done with it? Like, if he stinks, he stinks. If he's great, awesome.
Exactly.
We'll find out.
Him and Fedotov are both kind of like lottery tickets. So their ceilings could be high, their floors could be extremely low. Like, we don't know. We just need somebody to step up in that backup role. And I'm once again pushing for a 3 goalie tandem here. Let 𝙏𝙒𝙏𝙏 be the starter. Let Fedotov and Kolosov both be around the team. Watch the NHL speed either from the bench or the press box. Get NHL practices in, and let 𝙏𝙒𝙏𝙏𝙏 and Peterson have the AHL goal, because Kolosov wanted a guaranteed NHL spot. Maybe now the Flyers will be like, okay, we'll kind of honor that as the 3rd goalie. So I think that would be the best for his development too. Like, playing in the AHL with Lappy maybe would be fine, but I want to see him get some NHL time. Friedman reported that there was some sort of agreement that he could be loaned back to the KHL if he doesn't play enough or something. But even regardless of all that, I want to see him in the NHL as the number 3. Go like, give 𝙏𝙒𝙏𝙏𝙏 60% of the starts, and then 20 and 20 the rest.
So regarding that Friedman tweet, I believe friend of the show and the website Charlie O'Connor said he contacted Milstein, and Milstein called that a baseless rumor about being loaned back to the KHL. So I don't know. Maybe Friedman.
I do remember Charlie saying something about Milstein. Yeah.
Maybe Friedman knows something that we don't, but Milstein saying it's a baseless rumor. I cannot comment on baseless rumors. Makes me think like maybe not. But no, I don't know. I'm still not on the 3 goalie train. I think they should start him in with the Phantoms and figure it out from there. Sorry, bud. You got to go back to the hotel for a couple weeks. Someone's going to get injured, Gilb. Someone is going to get injured, you know.
Or Fedotov could just be not as good as we think, and then
not good.
Kolosov gets caught up as. I don't think they'd send Fedotov down, but like call Kolosov up to give Fedotov a breather, watch from above a little bit, like all that good stuff there.
Yeah.
What are your expectations for Kolosov? Both like this year, like how many NHL games will he play, and also how will he be received in the locker room? Because like this is a guy who, for months, said they didn't want to come over, and now he's like there. Like I'm sure they're embracing him, but what do you think's happening there?
Wow. I think he gets in. I was gonna say 10 games, but that seems like a lot. He'll get in 10 if someone gets injured, but expectations, I'd hope he puts together just a solid AHL season, you know. But how it's going to be received in the locker room, I mean, Gauthier left and didn't look back. Kolosov came around. I'm sure they're going to just let bygones be bygones. Sorry, Mr. Twister in the comments is right. This is Kolosov isn't this important, and I can't believe it's been. It's only this way because of what happened with Cutter Gauthier last year, or
no one wants to play for Danny Briere, Joe.
What's that? There was that Twitter guy who was like, "They're all gonna leave. Nobody wants to be a Flyer." Saul Goodman or something back on Twitter.
I don't
know. That guy. Nah, but Kolosov isn't this important, and it's only a story because the Gauthier situation. And Flyers fans seem to love feeling miserable. They really like to feel bad. I don't know why.
And as Mr. Twitzer says here, it was the offseason.
It was the offseason.
Something to talk about. And the Flyers did nothing this offseason. No signings besides these European guys. They got Michkov over, yes. But they didn't sign anyone else.
They terminated Ryan Johansson's contract and are going into an arbitration with the NHLPA. That's pretty big.
I guess so. I did hear Friedman on 32 Thoughts. Like people were not happy with the fact that he said he was dancing at his wedding may have led to the Flyers doing it, because like you can have an injury that you can't play hockey, but you can still live your life. So
I agree.
He did apologize for that. So
yeah,
but I just wanted to throw that out there.
No, yeah, I think the dancing thing was way overblown. I'm like, dude, you can break your arm and still dance, Like, I'm sure Rasmus Ristolainen with his torn triceps tendon was still able to, like, mostly conduct his daily life outside of using that arm. Mm-hmm. So, by the way, we didn't mention it. Ristolainen is back after last night.
Ristolainen is back. He looked good last night. Also want to shout out Erik Johnson for his that was a tough angle goal he got in.
This is just Brad Shaw. He's like, I will take these big defensemen who don't score, and I will make them score goals. Erik Johnson scoring the game winner in the Isles game, and then Ristolainen. Yeah. It was a good shot, too, by Risto. Like, straight into the open net over the shoulder. I was like, smoked it. He looked really happy about it.
If Risto's healthy again, and he's Tortorella's Risto, that might be really good. Might be a really good third pairing. Maybe he moves up and plays. No, because he can't play with Drysdale, but no, he'll be on the third pair because you got Sanheim, Drysdale, and then Risto.
Or he'll be elsewhere. Maybe that goal was all that the team needed to see to be like, all right, we got to get Risto on this roster. Risto.
I'm becoming more torn on that. Like, yes, I do want to trade him, but like, I also want to see him do well here. I do, but like, he is blocking Bonk. He's blocking a bunch of guys. he's bonking.
Sorry, I like that one. That was good.
And yeah, his contract's until 2027. So Bonk's going to come up by some point there. If Sanheim stays on the right side, there's really not much room for him unless he's just fine being a third pair guy and being a bit overpaid at $5.1 million. But because besides Bonk, they don't have any other right-handed guys ready in the next few years.
I don't mind Risto the player as he is now on this roster. I think he's solid, but he's overpaid and an unnecessary piece right now to this team. If they can get a good trade, I'm not talking selling him off for a 4th round pick. He's worth more than that. He's a good enough player that you could probably work out a decent deal. I don't know if you'll get a first, Even if you retain 50%, I don't know if you get a first, but you could get something. And I'm okay with him just hanging out here for now. But he is going to have. I don't think his contract is going to end with the Philadelphia Flyers.
No, I don't think so either. This is just Andrew McDonald to a lesser extent. I know you weren't a Flyers fan back then, but yeah, Mr. Twitzer said everyone in this room has as many NHL playoff
That's
points
true.
as Risto. So we want to see playoff Risto. We need to see playoff Risto.
We got to see playoff Risto. Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen to the Flyers this year. Well, I'd say that if the power play is league average, maybe
we got a chance. Yeah, and. Yeah, the issue with Risto is that you can probably trade him for more than he's worth. That's the issue. Like the Flyers gave up the 13th pick for him. You can probably still
14th.
use 14th. You can probably still use him not as the centerpiece of a package for a center, but like him, a prospect, and a pick for a second line center.
Sure.
I don't know if
we don't need a 2C. Why? We don't need a second line center. We have Morgan Frost, we have 𝙏𝙒𝙎𝙏𝙏𝙏𝙏𝙏, and hopefully Sean Couturier. They are all cromulent 2Cs.
You're not going to go 1C for Risto. So I'm saying like Risto, a winger prospect, maybe like a 𝙄𝙒𝙎𝙏𝙏𝙏𝙏𝙏 and a pick for 𝙎𝙎𝙎, something like that, or for Rossi. Yeah, something like that. Some of the names that have been out there.
Ooh, Anaheim.
They have 𝙏𝙗 captaining now. They can get 𝙏𝙗 Risto pair.
I know that their GM does seem to like his defenseman large. There's a reason they let go of 𝙤𝙎𝑎𝙎. Minnesota. I guess it depends on how Middleton, Brodin, and Spurgeon do this season, because one of them was injured for a while last year.
Spurgeon had like a big I think it was might have been a back injury, and he's old
pretty tough.
now. He's 34, yeah. So yeah, but
they might need youthful Ristolainen at 29 years old or 28 or whatever he is.
Yeah, the issue there is the Wild don't have cap space because Chuck Fletcher screwed them with Suter and Parise. But the Ducks have 21 million in cap space, so that's an option there. They don't have a second round pick this year. They don't have first round picks besides their own in the next 3 drafts. So they're on a good path on their rebuild with the guys they have. But they could always use more picks.
The Ducks, you mean?
Yeah, the Ducks.
Yeah, I'm terrible. Stanley Cup 2028-29 is going to be Flyers Ducks. I see it now.
Hey, I'd be happy if the Flyers can make the Stanley Cup final in 2029. I don't care who they're playing.
Gauthier will rip the cup winning goal the same way Patrick Kane ripped it in 2010. This is the Flyers' life. No, I'm more optimistic than that. Matvei Michkov's going to get a Michigan in overtime and win it in Game 7. It'll be fantastic.
Did he almost try it once yesterday?
Once yesterday and once in another game.
Yeah, because he had the pass. Oh, that was the rookie game. He had the pass over the net. But yeah, I saw last night was the opposite end of the rink again. He just did everything the opposite end. I saw did he try to lift it up there? He did. He did. I can't wait for his first.
Boston defenseman whacked it down pretty quick though. Brought the hammer down.
But yeah, I think that's really all we have. I guess Ryan Johansson.
See ya.
Whatever happens. Sure, like we expected this to come. It's a grievance. Hopefully the Preds are on a hook for some of it as well as the Flyers, so it's not too bad. But that's it. Hopefully it gets resolved sooner than later.
Pretty much any outcome works in the Flyers' favor. If they settle, they win. If it goes to arbitration and the whole contract gets knocked off, they win. Like, all they needed to do was get like $2 million off the books. They did it. If they want to settle for $2 million, then that's fine. They'll still be under the cap. I do want to go back to 𝙏𝙒𝙎𝙏𝙏𝙏𝙏 quick.
Before you do that,
sure.
It has now officially been 3 months since the NHL draft, and you hated the pick. So continue with your
whoa. That's where I was going with this. I hated it for one night.
Yes,
I came around on it by the next morning. Same thing as with Bonk took me longer to come around on, but I really like that pick now.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna ask, are we coming around on that? Flyers fans, I'm talking to you, Flyers fans. Are we coming around on the 𝙏𝙒𝙎𝙏𝙏𝙏 pick now? I'm on board now. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, I was talking about this with Thomas, and I think with Maddie and Jacob last week. Like, yeah, everyone's loving. It's amazing the turnaround we've had now in just 2 or 3 months. Like, he's the guy. Like, Twitterell's talking about him. Like, he wants to give him a chance. Like, he looks like a great pick. Like, he's not Constant Hellenius, but Constant Hellenius might be a safer pick, and he's like more ready right now. But
But I'll tell you what,
Luchenko's ceiling is high.
nobody is having a conversation about whether Hellenius should be on the Buffalo Sabres roster right now.
No, and
He's
you know what?
he's still
I
there,
don't.
but
I don't even want to hear about 𝙒𝙒𝙎𝙏𝙏𝙏𝙏𝙏. You know,
yeah, fuck that guy.
Booyum.
Wait a minute. Trade Risto for БooYum.
Oh no, they already have enough. They already have Emil Andre. Emil Andre's looked good. We didn't even mention
He
him.
did look good.
Yeah, he's looked fine. He's looked good. So
Yeah. Do you think anyone still who hasn't been cut yet, outside of Luchenko, is actually legitimately pushing for a roster spot right now? Except for, and not Ole Lixell either, because we already talked about him and how he's no longer waivers exempt.
well, the thing is, they're battling for being the extra forward. Like, as long as everyone stays healthy, their starting forwards are pretty much set with, maybe Delorier plays for a healthy scratch for another guy. But
Sure.
like, their defensemen seem to be set with York Sanheim, Drysdale Sealer, and Risto Zamula. Johnson's the seventh. Delorier is the 13th.
I don't
So
know, man. Goal scoring wonder Eric Johnson might crack his way into the top 6.
He'll get a game, I'm sure, in the first few weeks, just because it's a back to back, and you want to get everyone in there. You want to rotate them in, but yeah, I think it's Andre versus Jennings for potentially the 8th defenseman there if they want to keep up 8. But I think those two will be the first 2 call ups, depending on who gets hurt or who is out of the lineup, because Andre's more offensive, Jennings more defensive, so that really depends on who's out of lineup.
They're also both left shots, so yeah. I
guess it would be Addard as the right hand option, or
he's already down. Eric Johnson's your right shot guy.
Well, I'm saying if someone gets hurt, like in early November or late October, like if Risto gets hurt again, like who are you calling up to play there
or traded?
Yeah, because you can't play Johnson there every game. So
I mean, look, in his minutes last season to finish with the Flyers, he was okay. His underlying metrics were all right. They just, didn't score, but that was a team-wide issue. Same with Mark Stahl. Until they played him to death on the second pair, he was fine in a third pair role. Yeah. I wouldn't mind Eric Johnson playing 10 minutes a night. That's fine, but if they're trying to play him 20, then we might have a problem.
Yeah, maybe Louis Belpedio got 12 games with the Flyers last year. he's a veteran. He's 28 now, so
he got 2 goals.
He did have 2 goals.
He got 2 goals.
So, yeah. Also, Hauge Grands has been impressive to me this preseason. I'm not sure if you've seen much.
Is he still up? He hasn't been sent back yet, has he?
No, I think he's still up.
He's still up.
So he'll probably be one of the ones to get a look on Monday, and then I think I could see him being paired with McDonald or Andre, depending on how they want to match things up in the AHL. So yeah, I've after last year not being too impressed. I don't think anyone really liked him in the 25 under 25, but Seeing him with the Flyers, gives me some hope that he can be a decent bottom four defenseman.
Yeah. Hey man, it just keeps going back to that Ivan Provorov trade tree. Like what did we ultimately get out of that, So I mean, if they trade Grans as part of a package for something, then that tree gets even more interesting.
Yeah, that tree's always great. They got Walker, which they got an extra first round pick for. They got a first round pick with the Bonk pick. They got Grans.
They got the Colorado pick. They got Grans. Mm-hmm. We don't talk about Cal Peterson.
No.
And they didn't have to retain any salary. They got LA to retain the salary.
Wait, did LA? Oh, on Provorov.
On
Provorov, yes. So,
I mean, unless you want to count the Cal Peterson contract as retaining the salary of Ivan Provorov, I guess you could look at it that way. But
I mean, Danny Briere hasn't done anything of value after that. So the rebuild, it's who even cares, really?
Yeah, he hasn't done anything. There were no drafts. There were no trades. There were no, there was nothing.
So rebuild's over. Rebuild's over, guys.
Go home.
All right, we got 2 games coming up Monday and Tuesday, both on the road. Against the Islanders Monday, and seeing the Bruins again on Tuesday. We got a home game on Thursday. Maybe we'll come out on Wednesday or Tuesday night with something to discuss those 2 games. If there's any surprising cuts or whatnot, but
Sure.
I think that's gonna be it for now.
Yeah,
As
I might
said,
be. I might be at the Thursday game. I'm considering going for that one.
I am as well. So we'll have to see there.
We'll work that out there. That'd be great.
All right. As I said, top of the show, make sure you are subscribed to the Broad Street Hockey Podcast, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Like and comment and subscribe on YouTube. We appreciate all of that. Leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Appreciate those things. And yeah, subscribe to broadstreethockey.com. A lot of good content up there. Very cheap. So, we're doing all this labor of love. Give us some tips there,
Yeah, I've got a couple articles kicking around in the old noggin. So
nice.
Got to get those hockey juices rolling again for the season, So
all right, Joe, where can people follow you?
You can find me very conveniently written next to my name at @JFDMarini on Twitter. Now that I'm back from Europe, I'm really starting to dive into 𝙏𝙏𝙬𝙏𝙏𝙀𝙏, and I'm ready for this season, man. I'm stoked. Where can they find you, Gilbs?
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at @rgilbertsop. Also posting more a bit on Blue Sky now at RyanGilbert.bluesky.social. So, once Blue Sky picks up a bit, I'll go over there more because Twitter needs to die. I'm sorry. It's good for sports talk. It's good to have all the people of Flyers Twitter there. It's a great community, but besides that, not too great. Not too great Twitter.
Yeah, I might have to jump on Blue Sky at some point in this season. Also, worth mentioning now, as far as social stuff goes, if you subscribe to Broad Street Hockey at, I believe, the Lindros tier, you get access to our Discord, which, by our own admission, we haven't been very good about because it's the summer, and
there hasn't been much discourse in the Discord, but no. I do want to get that going. I really do.
I am going to make excuse me. I am going to make a point of trying to be in the Discord during games to talk and hang out and stuff. So if you subscribe to us on broadstreethockey.com and you subscribe to the tier with the Discord, you have to deal with me, but I'm a good time, I promise.
Yeah, I know we have the open discussion threads on the site at times, but if you're a Discorder, if you're in Discord for other things, check out the Broad Street Hockey channel there, and we'll hopefully get some discourse going.
Haha.
All right. Until next time. Thanks for listening.
Go Flyers.